Hey, welcome to the last of a three-part series on the principles of forgiveness. And as you may know, it's part of a larger series called Get On Board the Forgiveness Cruise, the journey to be stabilized. This again is the last one in this series. Let me just introduce myself so we can get going. My name is Mr. Advocate. I'm the founder of Rise to Your Top Mindset Self-Coaching. All right, let's just jump right into another principle here. And that is the mind, heart, and soul are to be in one accord. Now, what does that mean? Basically, what I'm saying is the totality of who we are must be in agreement for all intents and purposes to either receive forgiveness or to give forgiveness. First of all, the mind, as we know, is made up of our cognitive thinking as well as our emotions. So we might think that we should be forgiving and maybe even have decided cognitively to forgive, but are we emotionally ready to forgive? We have to check our emotions and say, am I ready? Am I ready to deal with the feelings? Are my feelings ready to deal with reviewing the whole process of being violated? So our mind must be on board with the forgiveness process. And then I talk about the soul. And the soul is really well, let's go to the heart first. The heart is really our character, our values, our spirit, if you like, our beliefs. And are they ready? Do we believe that we should be forgiving? Are we in a state of being a forgiving type person? Have we arrived at that state? And the soul is the totality of who we are. Which includes the mind, which includes the heart, but it also includes the body. So if the violation had something to do with the body, that our body was violated, it needs to be on board. Somehow the body has a mind of its own, and it may not be ready to also experience the violation or review it, whereby you're almost experiencing it again. So our minds, our hearts, and our souls must, including our bodies, must be in one accord that we're ready. The key is, are we, the collective we, are we ready to go through the forgiveness process, whether it's giving and or receiving? Another important, principle that we must understand and appropriate, for that matter, is motivation. What is our motivation to this forgiveness process? Is it self-serving only? In other words, hey, the only reason I'm going to forgive this person, it's for me. I could give a rip about the other person or anybody else for that matter. It's all about me, because they told me if I forgive, I'll be set free and I'll receive all these benefits, which are substantially true statements. But let me suggest you're not ready again. Let me suggest that there's really four groupings of peoples, if you like, involved. One is yourself, certainly. The other one is the person who violated you. If that's the case here, where you're the victim and somebody violated you. Your closest friends and family, they're a grouping to look at, and then community at large. And so I think that you're going to be more ready to forgive when you actually want to benefit all four, including the person that violated us. So there's a principle of serving more than just ourselves as part of the forgiveness process. Another principle is again to really recheck and double check the understanding is that we've been wounded. We have an open wound. we're infected. We have a cancer. I've talked about that. And our healing, if we aren't healed, the cancer affects us, and the cancer can affect the closest people around us, and the cancer can affect society, at large, community at large. Then the violator may be the only person outside that, but the violator could be a family member too. So they're affected in two ways. One is they did the violation, which is a cancer in itself. And then they may be receiving negative influence around you because you haven't been healed at the same time. So it's important to say the cancer's there, the infection's there, the poison's there. It's spreading. It's not static, and you can't bury it. As I said earlier, you can bury memories, but you can't bury this, or you can bury it, but it's still going to be there. It's not going to be healed. So it's really, really important to understand as a principle how this insidious poison keeps impacting ourselves as well as others. And this may be the toughest principle of forgiveness, and it's the last principle of forgiveness that I'm going to present to you. And that forgiveness is to be undergirded by unconditional love. Unconditional love. Now, what is that? Unconditional love. Basically, love, in the context of unconditional love, is a state of knowing what's best for another person. See, that's hard in itself. How do we know what's best for another person? We may have some ideas of what's best for them, but love is knowing what is best for them and doing that best for them without thought of payback. Unconditional love. Knowing, doing, and without thought. Even though I had indicated that the benefits of being forgiven or giving forgiveness are huge, and we should look at those powers. And we should. But at the same time, forgiveness is really aligned to unconditional love. And the more that we can at least get some part of that in our minds, the better off we are. Remember, I had indicated that forgiveness is more of a process. It's not a one-time transaction. So I think having unconditional love is a process of a development of it and then a giving of it. And sometimes we need to receive first, as I've talked about, before we can give. So have we ever received unconditional love? And if we haven't, we need to address that at the same time. So unconditional love, a major principle as part of forgiveness. So in conclusion, appropriating the 12 principles is critical. Appropriating the 12 principles is critical to give and receive forgiveness. I mean, I'm pretty emphatic here, suggesting that if we haven't appropriated them, which really means we own them. They're not just concepts or theories, that are dangling out there, that we've bought into, we own them, and we can apply them to the forgiveness process. And that's why I've suggested to you to review these 12 more than once. I'm not going to review them again now. I'm not going to give you a summary of them, because you can go back and listen to them again, each of the three, including this one, and ponder them and meditate on them, question them, and not just accept them, but think through them. That's the appropriating process, is thinking through of taking it and looking at it and from various angles, before, or if you're going to appropriate it. Otherwise, it's just a concept. So that's what I'm asking you to do at this point, is to go back, look at the 12 multiple times, think it through, and see the best you can do to appropriate them. Now, don't worry about how much you're going to appropriate, please. This again is a journey. Again, part of the journey is getting ready, in essence, to do the forgiveness thing. And that's what we're going to talk about next. We're now going to talk about the 12 steps. And you're going to see that the first step in the 12 steps is preparation. Preparation is huge. And it's not going to happen by listening to a couple of videos. It's a process. It's a building up of who you are. And that's why I'm going to go through the 12 steps. I'm going to bring back the 10 steps at least. I'm going to bring back the 12 principles and show you how to apply them as we go through the steps. Okay? Boy, I'm now excited about giving you the 10 steps. This is sort of where the rubber meets the road. We've been in preparation by looking at barriers, by looking at benefits, looking at obviously the 12 principles, a lot of preparation to now look at the steps. Then even the steps themselves as we go through them will be, in essence, part of the preparation. As always, thank you for being with me. Thank you for being on this journey to get stabilized, through appropriating, giving, and receiving, forgiveness. As always, I thank you for subscribing. It really gives me encouragement to continue putting together these 72 videos, part of a bigger series even, that to help you stare down anxiety, which includes your stress, includes your depression, includes, panic attacks and PTSD and suicidal thoughts and all those things that we all need help in, and especially in today's world environment. So thanks again. We'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.